Well, to be an effective executive, you need three quite distinct sets of skills. One is managing, the second is leading, and the third is directing. And in my experience, it's the directing part that is both has the highest leverage and is the most neglected. And by that I mean how to develop a strategy and build an organisation, but also actually how to set direction. That's where the real weakness is. People have strategies in their heads, they think they're clear. And I think the simplest change I would introduce into a lot of management education would be to practice writing. How to convey your thoughts clearly and succinctly. That is something which it is, if it is not practiced, you won't be able to make up. It is a skill. That maybe some people are born great leaders, but nobody is born a great director. And one salient characteristic of all the great commanders of history is their ability to put their thought into clear, simple, unambiguous prose. And I think with all the noise going on today and all the confusion that people are suffering from, that is the point that has the highest return on investment. Well, learning about leadership is not about knowledge transfer. When you teach children in school, the teacher is basically taking something that's in his or her brain and implanting it in that of the child, and then job's done. It's not the case with adults, let alone with managers. What you have to do with managers is to get them to understand something new, have an insight about what they already know. So it's very important not to give them answers, but what I try to do is to give them an experience which gives them a different perspective on what they already know. I take them on a journey. I say, well, I go to where they are, lead them to a slightly different place and say, look over there, tell me what you see. Oh, isn't that interesting? And then we discuss it. And that means that the learning is fundamentally experiential, and by that I don't mean sending people on outbound courses and all this sort of thing. You can have an experience in the classroom. You can have an intellectual and an emotional experience in the classroom. And if people are to retain what they learn and be able to put it into practice, they've got to have the experience for themselves. They've got to draw those conclusions for themselves, and it has to be linked to something visceral or emotional. That says a lot about the kind of technique that you need to employ for it to be effective.